All power to the people, brothers and sisters. Assalamu alaikum. Assalamu alaikum. Today I would like to offer my experience and to start a news service that is more attend to give you the facts rather than a lot of suspicions and a lot of information that we've been getting. Right, we get tons of information. It's just that most of the information, is wrong. Or doesn't have any bearing on the right. It's just like innuendos, people throwing things out there and throwing things up the wall and hoping it stick. And so I came up with an idea. Why not, if you received the same type of briefing, that if you was the president or chairman or whatever of the entire African diaspora all over the world, that's the El Mundo. And so if this was so, then what kind of briefing would you get from your generals, your different staff members, health and education, about pandemics, and what kind of information would you get? And you would get probably a lot of facts. Now, the president now, he doesn't like that. He likes you to give him the version that he likes, right? And so anyway, so this is my attempt. The briefing that you receive will be on current events. And that's what's important, right? The current events, and also that the current events that have a direct impact on your life. And so this is what's most important: us against them. This is the title of the news broadcast that I'm gonna try to be. I'm going to, inshallah, do. Now, the briefing consists of undiluted and uneditorialized, intelligible and intelligent current events, and especially those that concern us Nubians. And when I say Nubians, I include, you can use the word black, you can use the word Negro, you can use the word Afro-American, but Nubian seems to be more precise here than we in Americas, So, part of the Nubian people is commonly called as the Omics. Anyway, so let's get on to the facts right now. And also, we reported on all kind of economic positions, right? A lot of times you get economics, you get all these complicated figures and things like that. But let's look at it from a most basic point. What economics is, it is pretty much what it's a social organization. Pretty much what people do to get what they need from other people that want what they need. So right now in the current situation, it's kind of confusing because it's based on a currency. But suppose if that instead of currency, you had good faith for the skills that you had, you would sell your skills. This person had, let's say, chickens, right? And you say your skills worth so much chickens, y'all negotiate. He gives you the chickens for them, you give him your skill, building a roof or whatever, house or rebuilding this computer. And so that's the pretty much basics of it, right? And then you got import and exports. Exports is more desirable than imports. Imports, because there's always a dichotomy, which you hear now with China, the different countries, that there's not a quite basis of import and exports, right? That we're importing more from China than we're exporting to China. So therefore, the deficit gets larger. We owe them more money than they owe us, or it's not a washout. We owe the same amount, so therefore it's a washout. All said and done, right? And but in this case, people can't live like this on a washout, you know what I mean? They have to live really more in a situation where that you receive some income or quantity for what you produce, and some people used to call it wage slavery because we're working in an environment where we don't control the wages and we get the wages what the people in power or the capitalists say we need, right? So I'm not going to get into that. But anyway, we'll give you that correct, that kind of good information, right? And another thing, it's going to be on another thing that's been hitting the community, right, is critical areas like reparations. Now, reparations, as I was stating, the economy, the reparations a lot of people are suggesting is pretty much based on economics, right? They saying that some people that are rich, they owe trillions and trillions of dollars, so much money per people can trace their family back to certain times, or just all Afro-Americans, and they're throwing out numbers like 26 trillion like that. Some people say it'll break the economy. Well, I beg to differ, and I beg to differ both of them. Number one, let's go with that it'll break the economy. That's not our problem. But the thing is, though, and the economy be in our hands, so we think. But 1% of the people in 1% of the people in America controls about 99% of all the wealth in America, and that's in the neighborhood of about $26 trillion or less, or more or less, right? And we probably the first trillionaire has already arrived. Everybody keeping it quiet, but we know you talking about billionaires, $100 billion, 200, 300 billion, a quarter of $1 trillion. Hey, it's already there, right? But now, what if somebody has $1 trillion? You know what I mean? It's worth $1 trillion. And but anyway, I digress. What I really want to say is that the community, they print money. Their money that we get, the dollar bills or the $10, $100 bills, is not based on anything but good faith. And it's a stated value or worth. In other words, like a lot of us got tired of getting these big houses and stated income, right? It don't matter how much you make. They say they stated because you're self-employed, you're making this much income, so therefore you had to get a loan and interest rate based on the income you make and the interest and all like that, right? So it's a stated money, right? There's no backing in it. It's just stated. So, and then you had a currency exchange which evaluates the different bases of currency everywhere. And they say you transfer gold left and right. Well, that boat sailed thousands of years ago when the Arabs came up with an idea called a check, which we call money or check or whatever, credit card. So you had to carry tons of gold from, delivering and then bring it back, thief and all. So you get a document, a paper saying that this is what you owe. And so whenever it shows up at the bank or whatever however they ship gold or the actual value of gold, depending on the export and import, is what your paper is worth. So it might be worth, when you pull it might be worth $30 billion, and then in the trading exchange and everything, it might be worth actually $30 billion there and $10 billion over there. And that's a no story altogether. It's based on what the dollar balance and different incomes, right? How you can exchange money. Y'all look into that. That's one of those head banging things that you can become filthy rich in a matter of minutes and become broke for the rest of your life, your children's life, your grandchildren's life in a matter of seconds. So it's interesting though, and you can really dig with that. And the next thing is Bitcoins. Bitcoins again, what is it based on, right? Everybody says it's based on this math and all like this, but hey, they ain't telling me nothing. What is it based in? Tangible income and assets. So that's what I'm getting at. What's important to us when we say reparations? So we're talking about tangible incomes. Or actually, we're talking about stated backing of what this document or these dollars or this check or this money is actually valued at, or actually worth. So that's what we're asking. Now, my thing is this, right? And as usual, I tell a lot of people, you check anything that I tell you. No war or nothing's been ever fought over ideology or just money. It's been fought over land and resources, right? What the land and resources produce. Every time you see here, where's the slave trade or whatever it is, they brought gold with them, but it was the resources of the land, and the people were the resources of the land during the slave trade. Gold was a resource of the land. Hell, even rum was a resource coming from the land, right? That was a valued commodity resource. In the ancient Egypt, everybody say gold. No, the transfer of money was not gold. It was actually beer and some other items that a person could use or have. It was kind of like it was kind of like a beer or broth, some kind of a thing that where it makes sure the water was pure and you had some value in and nutrients, right? So that's the kind of thing that they had. So if you look at this and look and understand, the benefits of history and everything, right? Because I use Egypt because that's about most of us go far back in history. We talk about Egypt, which is really not old as our history. It's basically, down towards the current state of affairs, right? Like 5,000 years today, right? So to speak. But actually, our history goes back hundreds of thousands of years, and us building all these things. They didn't just happen overnight. They built 100 years. This thing, the whole idea of culture and building, why we build in the culture and our religion, our faith, our belief, and what we're able to, and unfortunately that we're able to amass is not just slaves, but slaves are resource. It's not just slaves, it's based on some kind of intelligence or knowledge or understanding or developing knowledge that created a lot of these things. So it took hundreds of thousands of years to do that in a lot of perspective. And you follow me, we'll do that on a different show. But that's what I'm trying to get at. That's why I want to present to you accurate and factual information uneditorialized. So I give you the information on all different topics. But come up, recently, I'm not going to do on this show, I'm not going to do a topic on the vote and the campaign. That's another topic that I'm gonna do. I'm gonna split these in increments. So that slot's gonna come in lately, and this has been done. And I'll try to post it on Facebook and a lot of different other places. But some of the things I want to post on Facebook, YouTube, and all this is canceling. So hopefully, I'll get together with a lot of different black stations, blog stations, a blog, and find a way I can express these ideas and give you hard information, what's good for you. Not what's good for the country, what the country thinks or what they say is right or wrong, what's good for you. So I'm giving you straight factual information. And today, I'm starting off on this first, is cell phones, And, is this 5G going to be a health problem? You know what I mean? And I did a little research on it, and I'm going to throw something at you, right? I'm going to give you the pros and cons, and then I'll give you my summary, okay? My analytical summary. Because I'm going to try to base things on logic and reasoning, okay? And this is what it is. And the question is, will 5G, phones make you sick? This is a pro. It's going to be on the pro side. And I was listening and to Ryan Jackson to start off with, right? And I checked on some of the things he said. He brought some interesting information. And what people are talking about, they're going to make you sick. And they studied this years ago. And I'll get back to the cons to bring up to date. What they say about ionized radiation that comes from the 5G. Let me put it in perspective. The sun that we have, it produces certain ionized, radiation. That's why some people get skin cancer and all like this, because it actually penetrates below the skin of the brain. Okay, and some people get different type of cancers on their skin and et cetera, et cetera. Now you come to radio transmissions. That's what our phone is, microwave. Actually, the phone is already microwave transmission, but the output of the microwave transmission is about 1%. 1% or 10% of the kind of microwave you get into a microwave oven. Right, where you can boil water in a matter of seconds and yada yada yada. See, why you shouldn't boil water? It heats water, superheats water. That's another thing. You got water superheated and it just pull it and snatch it out, and that water just blow up in your face. That's crazy, man. But it heats up water, it heats up moisture and water inside of a product. So that's why it's hard to do it, to try to defrost something in a microwave. But you can heat up something down to the core. I mean quick. But that's another story to go. But anyway, so it puts out less radiation, but this radiation also penetrates your skin into your brain, right? But it passes, the low frequencies pass through your brain and usually don't harm anybody. But I'm gonna come up on studies that show that it does. It does harm because the study was actually based on animals and a low dosage. Because these studies were done back, in the birth of cell phone in the 80s when they started coming out being popular in the 90s and 2000. I had a phone in the late 80s, a cell phone in the late 80s. I don't want to go into that. That was a nightmare. But anyway, so how does the radiation get to you? When you have a phone, a regular cell phone, right now we have 4G, and I take the cell phone and put it up to my ear, right? And I have it on, I'm getting radiation that's passing through. Because of the frequency amount, I'm passing right through my brain. All right, so passing through my brain, exposing not harm, but the amount I use a phone, right? The amount you use it, there's that radiation that it kind of increases over a period of time. And you say they said they were talking about 1,000 minutes a year could be harmful. I mean, 1,000 minutes a month. God, I wish I could get back to 1,000 minutes a month when it costs you like that. I was doing less than that. But between texting and just on phone calls, different people, sometimes I can do 1,000 minutes in a short period of time over a couple of days. It's wrapped, done. Stick a fork in it, right? So this is what I want to try to explain to you, right? So anyway, so we look at that, right? So now we know we have some small. Less than the sun, really, damage that may be accumulated phone, but it's accumulated over a amount of hours and hours to use the phone. I, for one, I have my phone on speaker, and I don't have the phone up to my ear. I might have it laying down. I have it at my hand. And then when I'm driving or something like that, I use a headset, right? So I had a headset going in my ear. It's producing frequency, right? And so this is nothing new. Now, a lot of people talk about the microwave. Actually, the microwave they're using in the 5G phones is a high frequency microwave. Okay, the 5G phone penetrates less into your brain than the radiation we get now, which goes completely through your brain. What you get now, it just barely gets. It's kind of like how it barely gets into your skin, but not all the way through your skin into your brain. Your brain has also a blood It has is an inner covering. It's a blood covering, and that reduces a lot of radiation and things that come to your brain. We got natural background radiation. You've been born after 1940. You got radiation in everything you eat, touch, drinks, whatever, including you. You got radiation in your body. And so this is what it is, right? Now, so we look at 5G. Radiation really is nothing new. Microwave radiation, nothing new. I was studying something back in the 90s, early 90s, when they were talking about, they were launching these satellites that had microwave communication capabilities, and they were shot into these dishes, antennas, like DirecTV and everything, and like even Comcast and all like that. They actually go through antenna before they come to the wires and come to us. So they would directly broadcast and make more, harder, stronger. A frequency that could really penetrate the atmosphere and everything and drop down that. So but in the 90s they had a problem. They were so fearful that this microwave, this powerful microwave being blasted down from these satellites hitting the antenna, suppose it got off course. I mean, this had to be done with it's like throwing a pea off the Empire State Building and dropping it in a cup about the size of this badge here, right? Dropping the cup about this side, a pea off the top of this, and then getting the dead center, right, to get the person. So they were so fearful that they could not keep this on course, or they could not adjust it quick enough, that if it strayed off course and got just burned the earth, right, they would actually fry things on the way. This is what I remember back in the 70s, guys used to wear those aluminum corn hats, and I was saying, but I guess some of them knew about microwave communication radiation. Also, this is nothing new. Microwave communication, like you being near an airport. That radar, that strong radar that they have to look at the incoming flights, radar's been, like this for decades, ever since World War II. It's been this strong radio pulse that sends out and it's interrogated and it bounces back, right? This is microwave this is very strong microwave and antennas that you do. Now, I wouldn't want to stand in front of one of those, antennas, a dish that be broadcasting this information, right? This microwave through my body. I think I might heat up. I live close to the airport, about the same elevation. Now, sometimes I get that hot, warm feeling. I don't know. I'm just throwing something out there since we all conspiracy theories, right? And so actually, it's not as bad, right, as 4G. What the previous thing had is actually an improvement. Now, the thing with 5G is that will there be more stations? Yes, there'll be more stations broadcasting this information. And matter of fact, that if you have dead spots in your house, your neighborhood, they can put this little device in your house or whatever and keep 5G, all your bars up. Now I have a problem in the house that sometimes our bars fluctuate, right? And so that's pretty much a problem. So now, it's on mind control. Well, I was going mind control, right? Mind control is different frequencies. It's frequencies that some got mind control frequencies that we can't hear. Younger children, young adults can hear. The TV blasting every day. We get all these conspiracy theories coming in on social media, all kinds of form of fashion, all this information, right? That's mind control, right? And I did a thing on Facebook called the Divide and Conquer. And now it's breaks down to science called algorithms, right? Where they keep separating cultures, groups and groups and groups, all these subgroups and groups after that they split them up because of division, because there's always a strong different information, because the information they get is based on the information that where it comes from. And so that's mind control. We're already under mind control every day. When you look at Facebook, you turn the TV on, you listen to the radio, mind control. Understand that? And they started that stuff on TV and what we call Clockwork Orange, how some mind control could work. Can they do it through microwave or communication? I probably can, but this ain't that kind of party right now, right? That's something else we had to investigate some other time. I'm just giving you the facts and information. Most in the 1990s, in 1980s, right? It was like 0 people on cell phone. See, maybe 1 or 2. And then in the 90s, it started picking up, right? Then you had a couple of hundreds of people. And then on down to the, now we have most people in the known world, or at least half, got cell phones and using cell phones on a daily basis, right? And so, and they talk about brain tumors. Now, the studies that they did was on brain tumors. Now, brain tumors, if from the rate where microwave or cell phone radiation, or microwave, started, then therefore, the more people use it, should be a great increase and brain tumors and things that affect a person's radiation. So affects radiation people because they get more radiation, of course there'll be an increase in brain cancer. No such thing has been done, or no study has found that it's been a dramatic increase on radiation. It's been more increase on sun, people getting skin cancer, and a lot of black people, we had to take vitamin D to because we're not getting all the sun we used to get. And a lot of us tend to get lighter, but we're not using that sun to make us healthy. So we need a little bit more sun, and so the wave guide, and it need to be really more tests, right? Really be more studies and tests done on radiation coming from 5G. Now 5G been around for a while. It's just getting new to this country, right? So we know that microwave been going on for decades, and all this radar and all this information that you're concerned about been going on for decades, been studied. But however, there hasn't been comprehensive studies on the 5G. But the 5G been around a couple of years. This was overseas in Asia and a lot of other countries, right? The 5G. Long before they even started talking about coming to America, they wanted, use everybody as a test question dummy. In Europe, they have 5G. And 5G is very instrumental for things like fire departments, police officers, and stuff like that. When everybody can transmit the information and can receive information from everybody, and it be real time, no dead spots, real time information exactly as it happened. Right? So that's some of the benefits of having 5G. 5G, I always suggest, would be instrumental if we had communications and we can break down communication. So many frequencies on this high frequency input. We could have our own, 5G communication that would be helpful for us to transfer information without being seen by the man. And so that's another thing altogether, right? And but we should have this conduit, right? Now I'm going to have this anyway. So Dr. Alan Freight, right? Dr. Alan Freight, but Dr. What's her name? Her name is I'm come up with it. Oh, I wrote it down somewhere. Hold on, let me see. Anyway, so I was also looking at this doctor that's the con, that's saying that that there's a lot of controversy in cell phone radiation, and wow, I wrote a name down. I can't see it right now. Anyway, it'll come up. I'll start reading this a little bit. And so you look at the cell phone controversy, and you'll see Dr. Lee Davies, Dr. Lee Davies, and you can go to YouTube and you'll see her a lot of times that she talks about this part 1 and 2, and she talks about the problem with the different the frequencies, right? And now she's talking about the current cell phone that you have, and we've been having for years. And the study was based on cell phones, was based on the use of a rat, putting one-time use in a rat for about a month, and it caused some heart problems and some cancer and everything, right? But now we use it, no problem on human being. But now at the rate that we use it at, it could be problematic. This is pretty much summarizing what she said, right? The hidden truths of a cell phone radiation. Now she talked about a Danish cancer society that did a study on radiation, but they found it safe, right? No risk. And a lot of did because of the way they had the study structured. Cell phone frequency caused less problems, 1,000 minutes a month provided. If it's just you use 1,000 minutes a month, no problem. But the studies that they're trying to find and look for is where the brain is constantly being bombarded, stunning frequency. Like you see people on the phone they never put the phone down, right? You know what I mean? See some of my sisters, some of my brothers, some of my bam, 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 all the time, right? And they getting some dosage, constantly getting this dosage. So would it be harmful? No studies really show that up, but I wouldn't knock it. You have to say, like, one of the things. This is not a conspiracy theory I'm coming from. This is actual scientists talking about different scientists, right? And so this is no conspiracy. And what I gave before is not conspiracy theory. These are a group of scientists that this young man had put together, and what he found, and also the cell phone company don't want y'all to stop using the cell phone where they put the information in. So both of these, could go either way. But I'm just giving you information. You make the decision. And so And so, put out less frequency in the microwave. The toxology, right? There's no really toxology that's found a really comprehensive study on toxology, how it poisons the brain, right? Because I told you the lower frequency wave that we're getting now from the phones penetrate right through the brain, and where 5G won't make that trip. It'll stop somewhere about just below the skin, but it won't go through the blood. But they found that when you use these radio cell phones, they put fluorescence in rats, and they did a study on fluorescence in rats. And this was done by another company and another group of people, in Danish, right? And anyway, so they did this study, and they found out they put this fluid in people, and so they found at first that the small use of radiation, it didn't leave no discolorment in the inside the body, right? But then when they found that they used the cell phone radio transmission, they found it went through there, so it also not only left a orange color inside the body, it left it in the brain. At first it didn't leave in the brain, but then when they subjected to cell phone radio, so they found the brain and body, because we had that blood sheet that protects our brain from our skull, and then and skin from the outside. And so, but it started showing some interest in that there was radiation getting in that could be very harmful, right? And so that's one thing that we have to always look upon and follow the information where it goes, and not conspiracy, not some information somebody next door, or they read something, or somebody Sally on Facebook, or Jim, or somebody like that. Raheem, Facebook, something like that, telling you that this is wrong for you, right? Because if you get the whole information, it's like use a cell phone less, or keep it away from your ear. Find other ways of using. Have those, those ear things. I hate those ear things. They have those ear things in, and and then maybe that you will reduce the rate. Almost the further you have it away from your head, you can reduce the activation at 15% on the 30%, and using a headset, you have it sitting somewhere else. You're talking about damn near, not even getting any radiation, or at least a very small amount. And so yeah, does the microwave penetrate your brain in the current state? Yes, it does. With the 5G, not so much. But of course, there hasn't been a whole lot of studies on that, right? This is all supposition. A lot of people are coming up with. But so basically, now that I gave you some information, also Dr. Alan Fry, this is another interesting thing. He did a 1960 study for the Navy, because as I said, the Navy was using, they've been using radar and that high frequency radar and microwave transmission for decades, 7 to 8 decades. So when they used this, they want to see what exposure does it have on the human body. So this doctor did a lot of studies, and then when they seen the study, he actually came in and was told, yeah, we like your study, you did really good work, but don't do this again or you'll be looking for a job. That's pretty much what they told him in 1960. So a lot of studies weren't done, but yeah, does it affect the body? Yes. Anything natural or unnatural affects the body. Now, let me give you my summary of my analysis, right? Now, from what I gleaned on both the pros and cons, both studies is, right, the 5G cell phone is probably less impactful than the current models that we have now, okay? Because no complete through. But in saying that doesn't mean it's not harmful altogether. We should use, like I know it was said years ago, you should use models like, don't have the phone to your ear all the time. Use earbuds or speakers or whatever, and keep it further away from your body. That'd be the best, And they did animals that, sexual problem, less sperm count and all like this. A lot of that wasn't true, but the thing was that it does affect your body. And that's what's most important. So, does it affect your body? Yeah, yes. Is it a major something that's going to destroy the humankind, the world as we know it? No. Will it have problems in the future? Should we do more studies? Yes, right? So the answer is, don't throw away the phone. Don't give it up. The phone, because now we're in a society we need the phone. Even not getting all information from Facebook and everything, right? Because sometimes you find kernels of truth and everything. This is Ibrahim Musa Assar giving you a news briefing that you deserve, because you deserve to know the truth, because it's us against them. Power to the